How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with mystery beers I should not be doing right now. So, I try to take all beers I review kind of seriously. I'll make sure it's relatively fresh palate-wise and all that kind of stuff. But every now and then I want to do one of my beers, whether it be mystery beer or otherwise, when, I've already had a couple beers. Not the best way to review beers, but my boy Jerome the Metronome from Jersey, sent off a box of beers, and they're all mystery beers. And I unboxed this a couple hours ago. And I was like, man, I really want to review this beer. Something about it, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the way the top is on it. I don't know. I'm just curious to see what the beer is, because it just looks like fun. And I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. You've been working all day, you're tired, you had a couple beers. You're not going to do that beer justice. I don't care. We're doing it. I kept my lights low, because this is one of those, what do I want to call it? Massive beers after dark. Something like that. Very Cinemax-y level mystery beer. So I have no idea what this beer is, but something about it's calling to me. So we're going to review it right now. So I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm not rip shit of whatever. Kind of hammered out of my mind. There's a cork in here. I know there's a cork in here. So I'm not even going to act like there's not a cork in here just by looking at it. Yeah. We're digging into it. I'm guessing English-based kind of barley wine. Oh, buddy boy, the cork broke coming out. So now I'm getting triple Bock vibes. So for those who haven't had triple Bock before from Sam Adams, whenever you would try to pull one of the corks out of there, it actually was like a cork you can actually grab onto. It would break. Okay, there's more cork there. I might have to get a strainer for this one. I'm even more intrigued now than I was before. Let's just be just a shitty Moldavi wine or something like that. I'm treating it with super respect. Okay, I got a grip on a cork. I doubt it's gonna come out in one piece. So we'll see how this works. Okay, it's through the cork completely. This is even more fun than I thought it would be. Okay, there we go. We got it now. I'm actually kind of impressed at a good portion of this cork. Actually, I got that. I mean, there's going to be subtle particulate in there, but I'm blown away by the amount of... See, I was pegging this as barley wine, but it looks more like British Old Ale. Yeah. Love that bottle shape. No idea what we're about to drink right now. It's dark. It's dingy. It's musty. It has to be old. I mean, there's no head on this. It has to be oxidized shit. But it has this beautiful kind of ruby kind of hue to it. Not much of a head at all. I think this is a beer that Jerome found. I was just turding it up on a shelf, so there you go. Spilled it everywhere. It's good nose. I mean, it's definitely an English beer. Napkins going on here. It's definitely English born. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if you look at that beer from how it looks from a bottle to how it smells for me, it's an English old ale. It's not even barley wine. I mean, it is barley wine, but they're going to call it an old ale. It's not, like, criminally oxidized. It's just oxidized enough to where, like, it's dead. It probably has several years on it. I'm going to go 6 for the sake of just shooting a number from my hip. But it's like an old ale, like more old ale than barley wine in that sense that it's like kind of like a subtle open ferment. There's a little bit of funkiness to it, nothing too crazy, but it's more that caramel. It's all caramel vibes, a little bit of toffee and caramel vibes. No like figginess, no like show daddy, no raisin endiness, stuff like that. But it's just a classic English, like dark shilling ale, like 8%. It's not a big beer. 8% maybe. It has some time on it, like 5-6 years, something like that. That's the vibes. We're gonna dive in. Cheers. Yeah, even lower ABV, so we're probably looking more like high 6s, low 7s. Very much like a Gale's old ale. If you guys have had like a bunch of like old school like English like ales, not necessarily like high ABV stuff like Hardy's and stuff like that. It's very much like, you know, harvesting like old OG kind of Moonraker-y kind of harvesting kind of that, you know, Gale's like was it Gale's old ale like prize winning something of that, way past its prime, so it's got a bunch of oxidation on it. Still a fun beer to drink. Like I'm actually like enjoying the shit out of this beer, but it's got to be like, this might even be like old, like old. I really enjoy this beer. Not that it tastes like fantastic. The fact that I get like old pieces of cork in it makes it like that much better. It tastes like port wine had a baby with like iced tea. That's kind of where it lands now as far as flavor goes. But there's something about me that just loves old beer. Even when it's oxidized, past its prime, kind of like beaten down like this beer is, I still find joy and happiness in it. So let's instead of trying to guess the beer, because I don't think it might be the Gale's line because the bottle sheet makes sense, but I don't remember getting like a corked foil top on those. So let's guess. Let's focus on the beer style and the year. That'll be a fun game to play. So this is a 7.8% English stock ale. We're going to go there. We're not going to go old ale. English stock ale. That was bottled in 1997. Like, dude, that's like over 20 years ago. It has that vibe. I could see it being like 2010 or something like that, but I want to go like, I'm going to throw the wiener on the table. I want to throw it. So 1997 English stock ale in the Gale's line. Conquest 2001. I was 4 years off. Conquest Ale Master Brew. It's one of the Gales, George Gale's ale. So it's the brewery I thought it was. 3 years off is a big, or 4. I keep saying 3. 4 years off. It's a big number. But considering I went 97 and it's 2001, I think that's all right. 9% is the biggest miss for me. I went 7, 8, so I'm like a full, easy 1%, if not, a little bit more. It's the Conquest. So it wasn't the Gales Old Ale. It was the Conquest Master Brew. Bottle conditioned brewery. Pale ale. Matured in Victorian brewery for many months. Prior to hand bottling, to serve, remove cork and pour carefully. Retaining yeast in the shoulder. I actually think I did that. It's got a fucking crazy yeast cake on it. I can't see any light through this bottle. Oh, a little bit, but man. This is B United import. Makes sense. This is a fun beer. Thank you very much, Jerome, for sending this off. Just from the bottle shape and the way the top was, there's no way this wasn't an English beer. And just, how flat and how oxidized it was, it kind of made sense. The big thing was the ABV. Like, it's really hard when these beers get, like, really old and oxidized. It's so hard to pinpoint the ABV on these because they get so light and so watered down and so whatever that it just didn't drink like 9. It drank like 2%. But I know how these beers kind of roll when they get some time on them, so it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm doing an educated guess at this point. I'm not actually guessing what I'm tasting. The ABV, if I guess the ABV, I'd be like 2%. But just from the oxidation, the way the beer drank, the whole 9, I'm like, okay, it has to be something in that, 6 to 10% range. I picked 7, 8. It was 9. I'm okay with that conversation. I had Gales written all over it as far as taste-wise, but it wasn't Gales Old Ale. I knew that. And to date, I'm actually really, really proud of. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to take this beer, a beer like this, and go, it's 10 years old, or even 15 years old. Go back to 2006. I felt like this had like time on it. Pushing that, 20+ year mark on it, and that's probably my favorite part of this review is that I had the balls to actually go 20+ years on the dating on this. Exactly 20 years. I went a little bit older than that, but again, you're talking about a beer this old. I'm okay with everything I said. That's such a fun mystery beer, Jerome. I mean, like in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of telling, from the bottle shape to the way it drinks in the whole 9, but not just experiencing it and trying to work myself through the mystery portion of the show, but for someone to send me a 20-year-old beer is just bonkers talk. So I'm a happy camper. So let's talk about it. Is this one of the better traditionally brewed pale ales I've had of late? No. Is it one of the better ancient, vintage, classic, archaic beers that I've had as late? Still no. It hasn't held up all that well, which is kind of the Gales MO. Is it one of the more funner aged beers I've had as late? Yes. I mean, that's the thing when it comes to these beers. It's just fun. Like, fun. It's so fun to journey through this beer. In a perfect world, I would have tried this beer, had this beer fresh, so I can get like kind of a perspective on how it drinks and how it tastes. But in the grand scheme of things, super fun. Value and availability. That's the weird part about this, is that you would be like, okay, a 20-year-old beer. Let's not even talk about that. But no, man, these Gales beers can be had. Let's put it this way. I am willing to bet that Jerome picked this up over the past couple years as opposed to actually having this in the cellar for this whole time. So these beers can be found. I mean, don't expect, that high octane Hardy's, Harvest Ale level of goodness. I mean, it's at that ABV level, and what they do, I think it's a Gales yeast because it just doesn't hold up that well over time. You're going to get something that's fun and interesting if you love aging beers. It's just not well preserved. So they can be had and leave you with, if you like, well, we like this beer. If you like aged beer and you're okay with it not being 100% on point. That's the fun part about this. Like I said, when I started this review, it's like one of those things where I was like super hesitant to do it because You know, I've had a couple of beers tonight, and I shouldn't be really, like, doing mystery beers. But something about this one was like, you gotta drink it, dude. I know it's old. I know it's old as fuck. It's not gonna be a great beer, but it's gonna be a fun experience, and that's really where it led itself. And just a fun beer. There you go. Mystery beer in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Rome, for sending this off. Down there, you can comment, but if you want to shoot me an email, matt@massbeers.com. If you ever feel like sending mystery beers off, older the better. That would be fantastic. Social media stuff, Massive Beers doing the whole regular social media stuff. Beer Massif doing the podcasting thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a 20-year-old beer right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.